Hi, in this video I wanted to show you how you can use recycled old plates to create new fresh prints. Hope you enjoy the video. Sometimes it's really difficult to come up with something new and you feel like you've run out of ideas and you don't know what to do. The best thing to do is to revisit your old box full of old plates. Just go through them all and you can get really inspired to do something completely different and fresh. It's really worth to do that from time to time, because if you spend so much time creating your plates and never using them again, to revisit them and create something new is a great idea that can inspire you creatively and reuse old stuff that you've made already. So here is an old plate, actually from a previous video I have published on the channel. And here is my magic box of plates. As you can see, there's loads of really old plates, bits of plates. This one in particular, I'm really fond of. It was made on an old carton or from a hairdryer, and it's just got some really random stuff stuck on it, but it'd be quite fun to reuse at some point. There's just loads and loads of different bits and bobs. You could even pick out a plate and cut it up. But my particular favourite are compositions made out of different kind of plates, different pieces. So I really like this one, so I've decided to reuse it for the purpose of this video. And this one as well is quite cool. We could do something with this as well. So it's just really looking through and getting inspired. This is again a plate from another recent video, which comes from a different parts of a plate, and I sort of put them all together, placed them on a piece of paper, and I really liked the composition. I've got a bag full of Chine-collé, and here is just a bit of tissue paper that I used to clean my roller with ages ago, and I liked the colour and I liked how the roller imprinted onto the tissue, so I kept it for Chine-collé purposes, just for to do something like this with. So yeah, this is what I've got, and let's make a start. So I've got these bits of Chine-collé paper and I'm sort of placing them randomly around my design. With print, not like with doing abstract painting, you can't see the results straight away, so it's a bit of a hit and miss. Through an experience of doing lots of printing, I can only imagine what this could look like. So here is the size of an actual print page that I'm going to use. So I'm just sort of recreating the design on the actual size of the paper that I will use to make my print. You can also overlay Chine-collé papers, which will produce colors sort of in between. So that's quite fun to do as well, and I'm hoping to explore that at some point. I quite like this Chine-collé paper because it has some patterns on it, some fibres, and I think that could look quite cool in the final print. So I'm kind of happy with what's happening now. I've cut the Chine-collé paper up and I'm going to start inking up. So I've got my Sepia ink and some wiping compound. I'm using the wiping compound here is just to make it easier to wipe the ink off the plate. I've got a lot of ink to wipe off. Trouble with wiping compound is that sometimes you end up over wiping your plate. So I think in this case where I've used the wiping compound, I did over wipe slightly. So it was easier to wipe off the ink, but I think I was a bit too keen to over wipe. As you will see from the final print, I wish that on the final print, the plate print was a little bit darker. So as you can see, I'm just wiping off the immediate layer of the ink just with newspaper, just to get rid of the majority of the ink. Just a little bit more. You don't have to do that. You can use scrim straight away, but I prefer to wipe off with newspaper just to save myself on the scrim. So just a little bit more, and yeah, I think if I kind of wasn't so keen on wiping off, I think if I was to do a second run of this particular plate, I would probably wipe off a little bit less. So here we go. I'm placing the plates onto my press, and now I'm here using just normal Pritt stick glue. I'm using a Pritt stick glue, which maybe it's not a very conventional way of doing it. I have heard different things. You should use corn flour with warm water. You should use wallpaper glue, all sorts of different things. I don't like to have anything wet because I find it really tricky. So as you can see, I have placed the glue side up, which is kind of feels a little bit strange, but that's the way you have to do it because you want the Chine-collé to stick to your print rather than to your plate. And here we go. Interesting result. I think the print looks pretty cool. I'm quite pleased with it. But again, I think I would have liked it to be a bit darker. Just a little bit of a close-up on the actual image. So here I'm ready to do my second print, and as I've showed you before with my bits of old plates, and I've cut up those tissue paper Chine-collés that I've created with a roller, cleaning the roller on old tissue paper. I'm really excited about this. I really wanted to know what it would end up like. So here we go. I'm just inking up my plate. This time I didn't use wiping compound because I'm a bit worried that I'm going to overwipe again. I need to find that balance of how much I need to wipe off if I'm using a wiping compound. I'm still really keen on using a wiping compound. I just need to find a way, find how much I need to wipe off to get a bit better at using it. So here we go. Getting my plates ready, and then placing them onto my marked area of the printing press. And again, I was really happy with using Pritt stick last time, and I'm going to use it again. As you can see, glue side up, and I'm sort of using a fresh piece of newsprint to glue up on so I can go over the edges, and then just to avoid it sticking to the newsprint. I use a fresh bit of newsprint every time I glue up. So I've torn my piece of paper here, as you can see, but it doesn't matter because it's sort of a fluid abstract design, so we'll just see how it all pans out. I wasn't sure how transparent that tissue paper was going to be, so this was a bit of an experiment. So I'm just putting it through the press, and here we go. Actually, it worked out pretty well. I'm quite happy with transparency of the tissue paper. I think I'd be probably a little bit braver next time. Yeah, interesting design. I like it. It's sort of a bit of nature because the original plate was about trees and the colours of nature. So here is my third Chine-collé experiment, and what I wanted to do is, as you will, if you've watched my previous video, you will know that this is a plate I used with my monoprint and Collagraph hybrid print. I wanted to use this plate instead of having a monoprint hybrid with Collagraph, I'm just using it as a Collagraph with Chine-collé instead. And I just wanted to see, in comparison to when I had it with monoprint, what it was going to be like with regards to intensity of color. So this is quite interesting. It's good to experiment with different techniques to see what you can get out of your plate, because the results can be quite different. And I have a feeling this plate will be a lot lighter, but maybe the colors won't be as intense. You don't know. So yeah, it's good to experiment. So once I've sort of decided where all the bits are going, I'm kind of placing them onto my print paper just to remember where they go for reference while I ink up my plate and my paper is getting soaked and drying. As you can see here, I'm helping myself a little bit here with a paintbrush. Now, I didn't clean my plate after my last print, which was a mistake. I forgot to do that. So I'm not sure if I haven't damaged my plate and what's the quality going to be like. So anyway, I push along and I'm just putting, I'm going to put the glue onto my Chine-collé design. Again, Pritt stick seems to be a winner here. I've really struggled with wet glue media because it makes it so fiddly. I mean, it's fiddly, it's bad enough doing it just with a Pritt stick because it gets stuck to your fingers. I'm using a kind of tweezers tool to move it around, but it can be so tricky. It's quite fiddly and it can be very annoying. So yeah, I prefer dry glue, definitely. Don't have to have any wet bits of paper tearing or getting stuck. So here we go. Bit fiddly, but as you can see, I've put it in the wrong place. I'm just cutting bits off. And that last bit, I opted from having 2 small bits rather than 2 big bits, just to make a nice variety. Bit of a shaky camera effect, sorry about that. So here we go, running it through the press again. And what's happening here, as you can see, one of my bits have got stuck to the plate, but it's not a disaster. I managed to peel it off with some tweezers and stick it back on. A bit of a patch-up work, but it worked fine. And here we go. It's a much lighter print from the previous monoprint Collagraph hybrid I recorded in my previous video. And as you can see, there's a bit of a line underneath my fallen off bit of Chine-collé, but it doesn't bother me too much. I'm okay with it. And you can see the comparison, 2 very different looking prints. If you want more vibrant colors, that's probably better to do it that way. And here we go. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my Chine-collé video. More videos are coming up, more experiments. Hope you enjoy the channel. Take care and happy printing.